Welcome to That Entrepreneur Life, a podcast about entrepreneurship that takes you from idea to launch and beyond. Each week, your hosts, Andrew Lees and Clint McPherson, discuss different business topics aimed at adding value to any entrepreneur's journey.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of That Entrepreneur Life. I'm Andrew Lees, and I'm here with my co-host, Clint McPherson. What's up, man? How you doing?
Not much, man. Excited to be here like always, and excited to go ahead and kick another episode off with our special guest today, Tom Fairey. Welcome to the show, brother.
Thanks so much for having me on, guys. I'm excited to be here. I love the droll when you say my name, Fairey. Like in the UK, like that is a surefire way to get bullied with a surname like mine. But you made it sound a little bit sexy. I'll take that. Yeah, they got a little bit of like the Matthew McConaughey in there. I was like, I'll take that.
Yeah, it just kind of trails off Fairey or something.
Nice.
That's awesome. Well, man, it's great to have you on the show. Before we launch into our questions, we're gonna keep it organic and fun. But before we get into everything, can you just give us a quick overview of who you are and what you're all about?
Yeah, so look, Tom Fairey, I'm the founder. I don't like to call myself a CEO. I think calling yourself a CEO when you've got fewer than 100 people just makes you sound like a dick. Like I'm the CEO of nothing. Like the chief executive, that's not a real thing. I literally refer to myself as head coach because all I'm there to do is make sure everyone performs their best. They understand the strategy, and I arrange transfers in and out of the business. I'm a coach. So that's what I refer to myself as. But for Stakester, we're an entertainment platform which allows people to back themselves at video games against each other. So if I say I'm better than you at FIFA, you say, no, I'm better than you. And then we both chuck in a tenner and the winner takes the pot. So really sort of drilling down on that competitive nature in people. Prior to that, I was in the founding team of a successful startup, which was in the financial crime space. And before that, I had a career in basically in sales, like tier one sales, selling to big banks, selling, 8-figure deals. I was pretty lucky. I had a pretty good ride. But that was always born out of the fact that ultimately I'm just obsessed with competition. And the fact that I would say to people like, I didn't went to school. I have a pretty strong academic background. And I was like, the options to me were like, you can go and work as an accountant, you can be a lawyer, but I was like, mate, just doesn't get me excited. How can I run around the office and just say to you, like, I'm better than you? Yeah, I'm winning. Yeah, I'm the champ here. I needed that drive. And so sales was really the market for me. And I think like that carried on and then into being an entrepreneur, because ultimately as an entrepreneur, like, there's lots of ways we keep score, but it's fucking competitive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, agree. 100%.
It is definitely. Yeah. I mean, that's perfect. If you're really competitive, I think entrepreneurship makes a lot of sense. You're going to be an entrepreneur, or you're going to be a sales guy for somebody else. So might as well be a sales guy for yourself.
Correct.
Yeah, man. So Tom, I mean, as a founder and investor and a founding member of a company, and can you take us back to when your entrepreneurial journey actually started and what it is about entrepreneurship that really gets you fired up every day?
Great question. So I had literally no interest in being an entrepreneur. Like honestly, like I was earning some sweet quiche. I had a sexy car. I lived in a place called Hampstead in London, which is like the Beverly Hills of London. I was living a cool time. And I was like, why the fuck would anyone start a business? Like, why? Like, I mean, I barely work. Like, I'm way ahead of my numbers. I'm living the dream right now. And I remember the exact conversation. This guy, 𝗏𝗏, was who was the founder, the pure founder of the previous company. We kind of followed him and called ourselves founders, but he was the real guy. And he sat me down and he said, he could see that I wasn't quite in. Like, he approached me about doing the gig, and I was like, he could see I wasn't quite in. And he was like, and he said, Thomas, I just want to ask you a question. I was like, okay, what is it? He goes, what's the name of the guy who started Apple? And I was like, Steve Jobs. And he goes, yeah, what's the name of the second guy? And I was like, Steve Wozniak or something. And he goes, what's the third guy? I go, I don't give a fuck. I don't know. And he goes, that's exactly my point, bro. No one cares who came in later. They just care about the people that started it. And I was like, fuck, I'm in. And then he just kind of like, I kind of got into, and I slipped into it, and it was like, I got there. And I think a lot of people can relate to this. You join a company really early on and you get really into that buzz and you feel that super speed and that hyper growth. And we went from like 8 of us to 150 people in like 2 years. It's fucking mad. We went crazy growth. I'll be honest, it was shit. Because like, you know, you lose that, you know, being part of that huge expanse. You're not really a startup anymore. You're just a hiring machine. That's all you are. You just, as a founder, you're just hiring all the time. And like, you're always focused on raising the next round, and you don't really get to do any of the cool stuff that you enjoy with the innovation. And then I went on an accelerator. I went on Microsoft Accelerator, which is pretty exclusive. It's pretty hard to get on. So, you know, I put it up there with Techstars and YC. And I was like, I went on there and I met all these cool companies and these dudes who were like wearing their branded t-shirts, you know, and they had like bean bags in their offices and they worked.
Very Silicon Valley like.
Yeah, exactly, mate. And you come up to them and you're like, what are you working on? And they tell you and you're like, I have literally no idea what you just said to me. Fuck, I want a piece of that action. Yeah, like I want to start a company that no one understands. And then, so I was like, I got to fucking get into this. I don't really, and then, yes, that's kind of, I got addicted to that space. And the thing about startups is that it's so vogue now to call yourself a founder. Like, it's so like everyone calls themselves a founder. Fuck off. Like, you know, like just because, you know, people like, I respect people who start things like coffee shops and so forth, but you're not really a founder. You know, you're just a small business owner.
Right,
people call themselves founder all the time. But there's something about the startup. And this, by the way, to call yourself a startup, I believe that you have to be creating something new. Yep. You can't just be improving on something in the past. You can't be like, okay, I'm going to open up a restaurant that sells, you know, that makes better burgers than, Burger King. Yeah, that's not a startup.
Yeah. Start from scratch.
Exactly. You have to be doing something that no one else is doing. You have to be really innovative to call yourself a startup. And also you have to be looking at serious scale, right? You can't be like, I'm going to build a company that gets to like, you know, I don't know, £1 million a year. Like that's fine.
Yeah.
That's
not you're not building a lifestyle business with a startup. You're building something that, like you said, can scale.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. It could be massive. And so it attracts just the most amazing people, you know. And I wrote an article about this recently, and I was like, and now I got really excited about it because the best people want to innovate. The best people want to have the opportunity to have creative freedom. The best people want to be able to say, I built this, but I built it my way. That's what they want. They want that notoriety that comes with it. They want the legacy of saying when they're like in their 50s and they're sitting around a barbecue and someone's like, oh yeah, that's Clint. Yeah, he made that thing. Yeah. People want that. They want that. And you don't get that. Yeah, you might get that, but like, oh, he's partner at PwC. Someone says that to me. I'm like, fuck, what a shit life. Sorry, that's for anyone who's listening who is a partner at PwC. No, I do believe you have a shit life. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, it's like
be real.
That's how I got excited about the talent, and because I had fancy education, I was always surrounded by like doctors, lawyers, and astronauts. And my brother worked for NASA. I was always surrounded by those kind of dudes. And I was like, maybe this is like the pinnacle. And I work for an investment bank, and I was like, maybe that's where we should be. But actually, the real talent doesn't work for big companies. It doesn't. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. Because if you really, and I mean, there's definitely some great talent. There's great talent in big companies, and maybe it's they haven't figured out. Like you work for a bigger company, or you work in the corporate space, and then you decided to go off on your own. So you were this great talent that maybe didn't really feel like you belonged in the corporate space, or that it was just in a way maybe it was boring. It wasn't the right fit for you, where some people are like perfect fit, right? It's just perfect for them.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think there's something about I'm going to call you out this straight away. Straight argument, straight fist fight on the podcast now, guys.
Love it.
Yep. Okay. I'm going to smack myself in the face and stop using the word talent. Okay. It's not talent's not the word I mean. What I mean is like people with the most drive, people with the drive, with the ambition. That's this fucking thing is talent. It's like you work hard and you stay focused, right? And those people we call talented. We put them under that banner. The reality of it is like some of you might have better genetics so you can run faster, but it doesn't matter if you don't fucking run faster. If you don't go and train, you're going to be slow AF. So that's the same with business. And I think that's what a startup attracts is people who want to just work so passionately. They want to innovate. They want to change. They want to improve. They're desperate for feedback. That's what I mean by talent. Yep.
Yeah, I love it.
Couldn't agree more. Yep. So you started this company Stakester, which is really interesting, really cool. I'm not a gamer. But I mean, I know people who are, and I could definitely see this being a thing, especially because like I was reading something about it where you're trying to, there's, this elite gaming community, the 1% that's actually making money at it right now. In the esports world, they're maybe on a stage or making money, and everybody else is making nothing, but they might be really good at it. We're talking about talent and practicing something. There's a lot of people out there practicing gaming, and they're actually really freaking good at it. So why not allow them to make some money? So I really love what you're doing with the platform. What were some of the technical challenges that you came across building the platform? And do you have a technical background at all, or did you just bring those resources into it?
Yeah, a couple of things there. So first of all, I'm not a gamer to start with. So not only do I need technical, I need to understand fucking gaming.
But you saw the opportunity.
Well, do you want me to tell you how the opportunity came about?
Yeah,
sure.
Okay, so it's almost become legend now in my business, but it's real. So it's March 2019. Okay, all right, and I am in a jiu-jitsu class. Okay. And I am not very good at jiu-jitsu, but I've done a little bit, okay? But I won a competition for another martial art, okay? Just to caveat that, for another martial art.
Okay.
Completely different, not even grappling. Anyway, and it wasn't a big competition either. So this guy comes in the gym, this Russian guy, he walks past, and he's wearing a vest, okay? Instantly, I don't like him, okay? Obviously, he's nice and hench, he's juiced up, and he's like, I recognize you. You're winning competition. And I was like, yeah, I fucking did. And all my bros around me, they're like, shut up. Don't listen. Don't say that. He's a dick. He's arrogant enough as he is. And the truth is, I am arrogant enough as it is. Anyway, but then this Russian dude follows up with, but you look so weak. I was like, oh.
There it is. Gloves are
there
off.
It is. All right, it's on. And then he's like, and so this is really, really interesting because it just progresses so quickly. And he says, well, how about we spar sometime? And I'm like, how about we spar right now, bro? You're here, I'm here. Let's fucking do it, mate. Like, no, let's rock. And then now the funny thing about this is that I have Russian investors, and I told them this same story, and they're like, this is what we do. What's the problem? And I'm like, oh, okay, sorry. Massive cultural barrier there. Not an English thing to do. Anyway, and so he said, and I was like, well, look. And he goes, how about we do this for money? And I'm like, okay, boy, let's do it. Okay, how much should we take? And he said, so we both put in $10. Okay, well, £10. Yeah. And what I've done there, cleverly, I put it into American. See that?
You got it, yeah.
With the audience.
Without even skipping a beat. Yep.
Bit of respect. So we put it $10 in. And so for those of you who are listening, and anyone who knows anything about the jiu-jitsu, they know that, like, basically, it is actually a science. Like, this guy was tense AF. I just pull guard, put him in a triangle, and he's like straight away. And he's like, you cheat, you use your legs. And I was like, bro, that's not how the game works.
That's part of the thing, yeah.
That's not how the game works, buddy. He gets up and he storms off, and I'm like, hey, where's my money? He goes, I pay you next time. I was like, no, you fucking won't, bitch. Okay, so I get my phone out. I'm like, there must be an app. I'm not giving this dude my bank details. And then I looked at it, I couldn't find an app. And I was literally like, holy fuck. Shit, there's not an app for this. So I get really excited. And I scoot off home. I'm really excited about it. I'm on the train. I'm writing down ideas. I'm Googling things. Like, is there a way that I can bet my mates that I'm better than jiu-jitsu or rugby or pool or something? Couldn't find anything. And then, so I lock myself in a coffee shop, basically, for like 3 days. And I go through the classic, going right into the weeds here.
Like research. Yeah.
First thing you do when you decide to build up some research is like really define your problem.
Yeah.
And what is the problem you're solving? Mm-hmm. What is the solution? So like, what am I actually doing here? Like, what was I actually creating?
Yeah.
The second, how am I going to improve that? But then the third thing was like, who the fuck am I doing this for?
Right.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And that's when I was like, do you know what? Like, this is all right for sports, but ain't that massive. Like, I could just get some money out of my pocket. Yeah, we're in a...
Yeah, you could Venmo or
we don't Venmo. We don't Venmo in the UK. And we're a cashless economy. We don't really carry cash in the UK. Unlike America, where everyone just carries around wads of money
exactly.
with
Hey, I don't.
No wonder COVID's spreading so quickly with all this money.
Exactly.
That's fair, yeah.
Anyway, and I was like, I got to get this game. Gaming's where the party's at. Like, I don't meet these people. I don't know them. They're faceless. I don't trust them. Also, I get into this wormhole and I'm like, oh my God. Like, so I found my brother. And my brother, he was one of the first ever pro gamers. So I hated gaming, obviously, because, you know, if your older brother does it, like, that's what losers do. So like, I hated gaming. So I get on the, so I phone him up and I'm like, what do you think of this? And he's like, well, I don't think it will work. He's nerd. He's like, but actually, he said, because the elite, they do this and they make loads of money. But if the elite are doing it, I mean, other people want to be the elite. Remember,
right?
Everyone wants to feel like a fucking rock star.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
like, how many times, if you play an instrument, have you been at home and been like, I'm playing a gig to thousands of people in my brain?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
or
yeah,
like,
exactly.
and whenever you ever been on the punch bag and be like, I could fucking knock Mike Tyson out, just as an FYI, I could not. But like, you're on there, and you feel great, you want to feel like a rock star. So like, I was like, we've got to create, and this is the term we have, like esports for all. This is the first phrase that came into my mind. But I was like, I don't know anyone, so I need to build my network. Now, second tip. Accept that you know fuck all about anything if you're a founder. Just accept you know nothing about anything. You might think you're an expert, but just assume that you are not an expert. Have that beginner mindset. Find other people who are going to enhance your knowledge of that market or anything. And although I had been through the process, and although I knew the basics of starting a business, I didn't know anything about esports. I could research it, but I was never going to get the kind of knowledge that other people were going to get. The beauty of being a founder is naivety. Like, I didn't care about how hard it was or how big a problem it was. I didn't give a fuck. I just backed myself to go and build it better than everyone else. Okay. I genuinely believe that if you come from industry, it can be a negative because you have fear of what can be done. You're trying to find a reason it can't work. Rather than if you're outside an industry, you're always looking for a reason that it can work. It's really basic.
The more you know, sometimes kind of boxes you into this, you know, you get this preconceived idea of what you know, the limitations are. And when you don't know about something, you're immediately breaking out of that. And you might find out pretty quickly, hey, I can't do this, but at least you're willing to go a little further and just explore all options.
It's exactly what it is. So, and also, by the way, just an FYI, all the people that were in that game, that space, were like, I don't think this is going to work.
Interesting. Okay.
We've outperformed everyone else on the planet, so who cares? Fuck you. So anyway, I get on the phone to a friend of mine, Monica, who's now in my team. I was like, Monica, I know you used to PR for EA Sports, right? So I phoned her up to say, like, I need a CTO. I need someone technical to come and work with me. And I told her the idea first of all, and she's like, oh my God, this is amazing. She's from New York, as you can tell from that.
Yeah, there you go. I love it. Great accent.
Perfect. Like right down there. She's not actually she's from California, and she's into CrossFit, so she's not really a human. Really.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, you know
exactly.
You know what I'm talking about. She's so aggressive. Like, she'd eat a person for lunch if she could. Real true story. And she was like, if she'd get the protein. But she's like, have you met my fiance? I was like, Monica, now's not the time to make friends. And she's like, well, he's like, he was the co-creator of Grand Theft Auto. I'm like, shh.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So I need to get my phone out. And I look on my phone. I'm like, okay, what's he doing tomorrow night at 6? She goes, why, do you want to have a Zoom? And I'm like, no, I'm looking at Skyscanner. I can be in New York tomorrow night at 6. So she's like, all right. So I literally hop on the plane. I fly from London to New York, pre-COVID. And he takes me to some shitty coffee place in Brooklyn that was good coffee. Fuck you, it's shit. And anyway, we sit down. I talk him through it. And of course, yeah, he's British. So like, you know, he's incredibly intelligent and smart and handsome, just like me. And so he got the concept, but he was like, you know, I don't think it's going to work because this, and this. But I'm in. So like, that was it. And that's how the story started. We had, I've got a cool story about how we did our market validation. I don't know if you want to hear it, but it was quite a good test.
Yeah,
so
man, for sure.
I was actually going to ask you, because you got a lot of negative feedback, right? And a lot of people, I think, it's hard to know, when do you stop and when do you say, you know, listen, we need to do something else. We need to pivot. We need to do something else, or just keep pushing through that. What was that market validation that you were looking for, that you needed to say, yep, these are the people I need to listen to, or this is the validation that I need for this product?
Yeah. So ultimately, don't listen to investors, right? Listen to your customers. Okay. So I was like, okay, right. First of all, I'm going to listen to the human element of this. I was so convinced about this, and my concept was like, I don't think this isn't a gamble. First of all, what we do isn't gambling, because gambling is when you can't control the outcome. Okay, so you put money on an outcome you can't control, right? So you two have a wrestling match, and I put money on Clint to win. All right, okay. I can't control the outcome of that. Okay. But then if I'm wrestling one of you two, I can control the outcome because I'm involved. And therefore, it's not gambling anymore, okay? That's the difference. It's a competition, okay, where I'm backing myself. So, but I was like, I don't think this isn't about, we're not creating games. What we're doing is just making a whole process a bit more exciting. So, Andrew, if you and I have a race, okay, I'm going to win. I'm incredibly fast. But if you and I have a race, like, if we just run normally, like, we're going to put effort in. But if we put $100 on the line, holy shit, we are going to gas out. Do you know what I mean? Like,
pull your damn hamstring,
whatever. Everything out on that race. Yeah,
exactly. And it doesn't even need to be $100. It could be $5. It just matters more. So I was a bit like, look, I think that we're an entertainment business. So what I did was, I was like, how do I prove this? How do I prove this to myself? How can I validate this as real? Because, like, that's just a hypothesis. I need to test it. I say this to founders all the time. Like, if you've got a hypothesis, just test it. It doesn't matter how you do it. Just find a way to test that hypothesis. Because that's going to give you two things. One, it's going to prove whether it's right, but also it's going to give you some evidence to go to investors when you raise money.
Right.
Okay? This is how I saw the world. This is the hypothesis that I proved, and this is how I can scale it. So what I did was I bought these shitty heart rate monitors off Amazon. I can send you the link. They're like $10. They're awful. I bought like 10 of them, and I arranged for my mates to come over to my house for a FIFA night where we're just playing games, right? Play FIFA, Rocket League, whatever. Okay? And I put them on a heart rate monitor, and you can imagine they'll be like, what is this dick doing now? Who is this fucking hell? Yeah. Anyway, that I'm just monitoring. I'm just like literally taking down a heart rate and measuring, like, what happens if we start playing for a pizza or a dare?
Interesting. Okay.
$20. And like those heart rates are like 170 resting, like going up to like 110, like 120 when you start playing for stuff. And I was like, if I can get that kind of response from someone by adding a bit of spice, I've got myself a business. So that's what I did.
Interesting. Okay. So you kind of proved it. You didn't necessarily ask them. You figured it out from the science, basically. So you didn't have to ask them if they were more engaged with the money. Their heart told the story, basically.
Yeah. So it's like, the thing is, what that meant was, it meant that if I could convince someone to do it, I knew that they would enjoy it.
Yeah.
Okay. That was the thing, right? So it's that classic saying by Henry Ford. It's like, if you ask your customers what they want, if I'd asked my customers what they wanted, they would have wanted faster horses. Right. Okay. Yep. So like, if I ask people before it's been created what they want, they may not really understand. So then what you have to do is, that first thing is like, if I do get them in, are they going to have a better experience? And then becomes the distribution, the acquisition of those customers. And so then I literally for that, I just did a survey. I went on Facebook, I created a survey. I tell you specifically what I did actually. I bought a set of SteelSeries headphones, which are like super gamery. And I was like, I just did a giveaway. I was like, fill in this survey, and then the winner gets a set of SteelSeries headphones. Yep. And I got like 1,500 responses. Of those 1,500, 400 of them are now customers. So
that's wild. Did you run an ad to that?
Yeah, I just run an ad. Literally, like it cost me like $1,000, I think. Like the all in, including the headphones. They're like $300. Yeah. So like it was all in there about that much. Which is fairly punchy, but like I was winning customers. I was getting traction. I was getting people. I was getting some data. I had enough then to know like, who are the kind of people that do? What's like the standard they would be willing to put on? Like, what is it that prevents them from doing it? What are their fears? What are their ambitions? And then it really resonated with me. Like, people want to be part of this world. They want to feel like rock stars. Again, it just highlighted it for me. So that's how we knew. And then we raised a bit of money off the back of that. And then off we went.
Love it, man.
I love that. Honestly, not to me. I don't know if I've heard of too many people doing a Facebook survey to get some market validation, but it's perfect. I mean, it's a great way to just easily get some actual feedback, and having a giveaway just
adds that extra element to it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So Tom, you just mentioned about raising some money. So I know late last year you went through like a $2.7 million seed round of funding. What was the experience?
You so disrespectful. How dare you?
If not more, man. I might have put it.
Seed. $4 million dollars. $4 million. Yeah.
$4 million. Okay.
Dollars. Yeah.
$4 million. My bad on that. But what was that experience like for you, and how has the cash helped you build your business?
Quite a few questions there. So first of all, we had a quite interesting story. So when we first started raising money, like the number of fuck offs was big. We started raising, like, I don't know, I had enough money to fund for a bit, right? Okay. Right. I was doing okay, but once people start working for you and people start getting, people will work for free for a little bit. Then free is the wrong word. So people will work without being paid a salary for a little bit.
Yeah.
But then you've got to start paying stuff, right? Sure. And there's costs with that. And so we had to raise some money. And we needed we're an expensive business because because you're involved, because you're doing something with money, you have to be robust before you can do anything. And also we have quite big legal costs to begin with, because we had to prove to the world that we weren't gambling. So, so I didn't go small. I went to the 2 biggest gambling law firms in the world to prove that, right? Okay. I wanted to get that advice. We wanted to get it play right from day one. Mm-hmm. And so we had, that's an expensive business. So we had to raise about $500,000 pre-seed. Okay. Mm. And we raised that exclusively from angels. And it took me 9 months. And I got told to fuck off so many times. At the beginning, I started raising I had a network of VCs from day one because I'd been through some rounds before. I had a bit of a network. And I'll tell you what, dear God, did I embarrass myself. I just went in there and just said stupid shit.
Right.
These are really conservative numbers. And they're like, shut up. We don't want conservative numbers. We want amazing numbers. Get me excited.
Yeah. It's all made up anyway. Might as well make them up great.
Yeah, might as well fucking make it big.
Go big.
You know what I mean? So fucking stupid. And then there is obviously a spectrum to that, but I was too far this way. I started doing silly things I was talking to completely the wrong people. I was talking to people literally fintech specialists. They don't give a fuck. I was saying that my best investor is actually a fintech investor, but that's by the by. But and I didn't know them. And so I decided to, and again, if anyone wants to hear about the story verbatim, I've written a couple of articles on Medium, which they can check out about the step-by-step I did this. But I was like, look, what am I good at? What have I done successfully before? I'm a sales guy, right? So I just treat this like a sales process. Okay, and I wish I'd done that earlier on. So I did an email campaign. I went and got a list of people who were exactly the right criteria for me in terms of angels, and I did an email campaign. I don't know how many people I emailed, but I raised $500,000 from angels in 9 months. Okay. And it was fucking hard. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But every time I was presenting, every time I was pitching, I was getting better.
Let me ask you a question. Did you buy an email list, or did you, how did you get that? How did you build that list?
Good question. I didn't buy an email list, but what I did was I did hire someone to build it for me. So I didn't buy a list.
Gotcha.
So what I did was, I didn't go out and just fucking buy a list. In fact, if you buy a list, they're selling that to someone else. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
90 people on that list. But I knew the kind of person I wanted, but I didn't have the time to build that list. If I wanted 1,000 people on that list, I don't have the time to go and get 1,000 contacts. It's a shit use of my time. So what I did was I got specifically the kind of people I wanted to go after. Obviously angel investors within this sector, within this region, maybe this age group, these interests, these kind of things. I made it really specific. I made it completely formulaic. And then I found someone, I think I found them on Upwork. And I was like, hey, buddy. And I tested 3 of them. And 2 of them came back with the worst people you can imagine. And one of them was pretty good. And obviously he was the most expensive. It's usually the way it works. Right. And, I just went through it and I gave them examples of the kind of people I wanted. I was so specific with it. And so they did exactly what I would have done. They just trawled through LinkedIn and angel.co, angel list, right? They just went through the same thing, but they just populated the list for me. And then I created that list. And you've got to be smart about it. Get them to collect some interests as well. Don't be just some random dude. Make it personal. Okay. So find out something interesting about that person. But that's a big time suck. Someone else can do that for you if it's just heavy lifting. So it took us 9 months to raise that. And then we launched, and, you know, I mean, it went way better than we expected. I was like, so well. We were not ready, and our product just kept fucking crashing. Like, we're like, oh my God, we didn't expect this many people.
Yeah.
Which
Great
is
problem
good.
to have.
Well, it is, but we've lost all those customers, as you can imagine. They're like, this is shit. You know,
Yeah,
we learned so much. But what it meant was, because I spent so much time focusing on like raising profile, like building a great story, getting great testing, getting great metrics with my customers. Like the second round where we did like $4 million took me 2 weeks.
Nice.
Wow.
9 months for $500,000, 2 weeks for the second one.
Kick-ass.
What do you think the biggest contributor to getting it that quickly was?
3 lessons I learned. Right, okay, 3 right there, buddy. Right. Number 1, excitement is contagious. Okay, if you're not excited about what you're going to do and about what's happening, why the fuck would they be excited? You've got to bear in mind, like, everyone is pitching to these people and they've all got this amazing opportunity. You have to make yours sound even more amazing, but not only more amazing, you want them to feel like they just want to be part of your ride. Like, yeah, I'm an energetic guy. You've probably got that vibe. And I think I want to make people enjoy their experience they have with interacting with me. Well, I know that. I'm great mates with my investors because they text me. I'll be honest, it's a little bit of banter. It's good. But it's like you want that relationship with them. You want them to enjoy interacting with you rather than feeling like you're a robot. So be excited. Be excited about it. Be ambitious about it. That was the first thing I learned.
So it's not all about the money, right? So do you think because they have an investor typically has enough money to play with, right? And in a way, that's what they're doing anyway. They're playing with this money, not even expecting a return. I mean, they want a return, right? But they're not like assuming that every business they invest in is going to have this great return. So do you think that there's having that excitement, having that, like you said, they want to be on the ride with you. So if you can take it beyond the money and get them excited to be part of it, do you think that's a big...
I think it's an additional part of it. Yeah,
for sure.
If they think that they're going to enjoy that journey more than if you've got 2 people that are like for like in terms of opportunity size, and one of them they find more exciting than the other, what the fuck are they going to go with, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. And the second thing is simplicity. You got to bear in mind that when you're pitching, you're not pitching to that person. You're pitching to that person so they can pitch to their boss.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. They are talking to you so they can then go to their boss and be like, oh my God, I found this amazing company. They're doing this amazing thing. They're doing this, right? That's what you want to do. Now, I've sat on investment committees before where some amazing kid has walked in and he's been like, oh my God, I've got this amazing company in AI that does blah, 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 blah. And I've literally just been like, I've literally no idea what you're talking about. Yeah. And someone else has come in and they're like, I've got this company here and they're like the Airbnb for dating. And I'm like, I'm in.
I get it. That makes sense. Yeah,
I get it. So you've got to be so simple. You've got to make your pitch so simple, and the opportunity and the size and the objective. You've got to make it so simple that when they get out of the room and they get in front of those other investors, they're going to articulate it so simply as well. Do not trust a VC to understand what you do. Yeah. Okay. You have to make sure you teach them what you do, and they have to completely understand. Why are you better? Why are you going to scale quickly? Because do not get them to articulate it. Yep, you articulate it and they repeat it. So simplicity. Number 1, excitement. Number 2, simplicity. And the third, just FOMO. Okay? Yeah. If you want to look sexy, get a sexy girl to walk down the road with you, buddy. That's what you do, right? So that's the reality. So it doesn't matter how good looking you are. If you've got a good looking girl with you, you look better. Okay, or guy. Well, I'm inclusive. And the point is, if you are, and so you create FOMO. So it sounds like a privileged position to be in, but if you are good at pitching, you have a good opportunity, you will get more than one offer. Okay? So you have to try and get more than one offer.
Right.
Because the second you have another one, everyone else is like, shit, am I going to miss out on this? Yeah. And I'll tell you this for a fact, right? So you go and speak to an investor, for example, myself, and you see someone, you say, okay, tell me all the deals you've invested in. And they'll be like, oh, no, that one. And they'll be like, I've got a notepad somewhere with them all on. Okay?
Right.
But ask them, what deal did you miss out on? And they'll be like, oh my God. For me, I missed out on Revolut. I don't know if you know that. Right. I missed out on Revolut. And I was like, Yeah, but like everyone knows what they missed out on. Not everyone knows what they are in on.
Right.
And so that's a really powerful emotion. And so you've got to make them feel like, fuck, am I going to miss out on this amazing deal? Am I? Yeah. It's really powerful. So that's what we did. We just created that. We're like, look, we're running this for 2 weeks. You're in or you're not. Yeah. And some people, they weren't in. Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you what, we got 4 term sheets and they were in. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah. I can see that being a really, really powerful emotion to just, you just really you want to be in, but you're not sure. But if you think, if I miss out on this and it's the next Airbnb or it's, the next Uber or something and they don't have a small piece of it, it's like, oh man. Yeah.
I see it as a scarcity time.
I say to people all the time, like, it's real. Like, they are going to miss out. You are going to be amazing. Like, my first investors have already made like 20x from their money. Yeah. Yeah. So it is, and that's in like a year. Yeah. People make a lot of money out of startups. Nothing else can go as well as it does, so like, even Bitcoin isn't going to give you that return. Obviously the risk's a bit higher, but that's the truth of it. So it's real. They are going to miss out. So don't, you got to remember, like, you are giving away, selling part of your business.
Exactly.
Okay. If they don't want to move quickly and they don't do it, fuck them, move on to the next one. Because they're the ones who are going to be happy with it. They're the ones that are going to be like, yeah, I invested in Stakester. Yeah, fuck man. And everyone's going to be like, fuck, I didn't.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then that probably makes every round a little bit easier as you start to build on that. Like, all right, well, I didn't get in last round. I want to get in this round. I'm not going to get, I may not get as big of a return, but.
Well, we're pretty Machiavellian on that. If you put last round, you ain't coming in this one, buddy.
Exactly.
You're out.
You
had your chance.
Damn it. I can't do it. I can't get in.
It's like that girl, who I turned down in high school, but now I'm like, come on, let me back.
Well, so now it's completely sustainable. So you're running on your.
Bro, we're a startup. What are you talking about? No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
we're like, I say to people all the time, like, if you are a startup and you're completely sustainable, you are not growing fast enough. Yeah. Right. Like, you've given up. You've given up on growth.
Okay.
Like, yeah, we make money. Okay. We make money, but then we want to grow. So we got to put that money straight back in.
Right.
Okay. There's I'm pretty bleak on this. I think if you've got more than 6 months runway, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah. Okay. You're a startup. You are here to be super scale. I'm fine. If you want to sell like 25 million, that's cool. Yeah. Congrats on that. But if you want to sell for the hundreds of millions, and maybe even billions, you have got to go fucking hard. Do you know how much profit Stripe make? Fuck all. Yeah. But they're doing all right, aren't they?
Yeah. So what do you think the point is where you can be sustainable with a startup that, I mean, I guess you could really be sustainable at any point, right?
Yeah.
As long as you're obviously making more than you're spending, which I think a lot of startups do kind of get. I think there's probably a lot of people who raise money and they get all excited and they think that's the win, when really that's not necessarily the win, right? The win is actually getting more revenue from customers than what you're spending, because you could raise $4 million, which you did, blow that all on ads and make $1 million in return. And it's like, well, that didn't work. That wasn't successful. Right.
So it's interesting. So, I believe that you should split your business down the middle in terms of cost, 50% on growth and 50% on products. Okay. That's where it should be, like acquisition growth. It should be 50-50 down the middle. And because you're either doing one or two things, you're either growing your business or you're improving your business. You're doing one of those two things.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And innovation is expensive, but doesn't always give a return. Okay. So look, if you should have a great cost per acquisition to LTV ratio. For the people listening, that's a CAC is a customer acquisition cost. LTV is lifetime value. Okay. And you want that to be over like 3 or 4 to 1. Okay. So that means that for every $1 you spend, you get $4 back. Okay. Right. That's what you want in terms of LTV. That LTV may not be within that first month. It might take a year. It might take 3 years, right? You don't know.
Oh,
okay. Yeah. So you do those calculations, and I'd probably like maybe within a year, it looks like that's going to be the case. And so you've got to try and figure that out, because if those unit economics don't work, you don't have a business. Okay. And there's no point just throwing more money at it to try and improve that. Okay. You've got to figure out where you're going to get that revenue from customers. And you're absolutely right. But that money that goes in, so if you get £1 million and you 2 million, say for example, easy maths, you put 1 million into growing your customer base, that other million should be going into improving that product, to making yourself innovate and go further ahead. And the problem with innovation is it doesn't always work. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's not always something that people want, but if you're not innovating, you might as well just stop. Yeah. And the reality is, look at the innovation rates for big companies. They just slow down. And that's what allows other startups to come in and take the market.
Right.
That's
why Stripe were able to.
That's why Stripe were able to, because Visa and MasterCard weren't innovating, right?
Yeah.
That's what happens. Yeah.
Makes sense. I love that. 50-50, keep it simple. You're innovating. If you're just innovating, then you might have, you're
a lab. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Business, yeah. So you're not getting the customers in, the validation that you need for those improvements. And sometimes, like you said, those, the innovations don't necessarily get you. If you spend $1 million on innovating your product, you're not necessarily going to get $1 million out right away, but you're at least going to keep, you're at least going to stay ahead of your competition and continue to be on the leading edge of it, right? So,
and you've got to do that. You've got to keep giving value to your customers. Yeah.
Love that. So, Tom, through your entrepreneurial journey, from the highs to the lows, what has been the hardest thing about being an entrepreneur for you, or being a startup for you, since you don't love being an entrepreneur?
I think uncertainty is always the hardest thing. Okay, right? Because you don't know what's going to happen. You've got to be comfortable with it, right? But you don't know what's going to happen next. Okay, that's hard. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how well something's going to go. You believe it's going to go well, but you don't know it's going to go well. You don't know if an employee is going to be amazing or they're not. Like, the reality of it is, like, you need super high caliber people. We don't really know if they're going to be super high caliber until they join. Okay, so there is always that uncertainty, which is difficult. I think the other hard thing is, like, you've got to figure out how hard it is on your support network, right? Like, it's all well and good, the dream of being able to, pay off your mortgage and go and live in a mansion sometime when you cash out. But the truth is, like, it's a hard journey for your support network, and seeing the how that affects them is difficult, because they're like, fuck, is he going to be able to pay rent this month? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's hard, right?
Yeah, right.
But like, that's a hard thing you have to accept. And I think those are the things that I found difficult. I don't think I found, like, the pressure as difficult. I think I knew that because I've been in sales, so I'd known about the pressure of having to fix something in a really short space of time. I think I was familiar with that, but certainly the uncertainty was hard.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I mean, when it comes to the uncertainty, I mean, taking the risk, again, you never know how it's going to play out at the end of the day. You never know what obstacles you're going to come across. You never know. But at the end of the day, as an entrepreneur, as creating a startup, you're taking that risk that a lot of people don't have the cojones to take, right? We're already a little bit unstable in the head, right? We're doing things that we're getting out of our comfort zone, that safe box that people create, that bubble. And we're continuously pushing the envelope to try to figure out how we can innovate, create, and continue to move, right? And so that's where I can relate on that. And I really respect that, Tom.
It's something. Yeah, that's it. I think, like, one of the core things you have to be as a founder is you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. You've got to accept that, like, you are it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be hard. Like, you're really gonna struggle. There are going to be times when you want to give up. There was a time when I was walking back I'd just come out of the gym, and I came outside and I'd received 3 rejections from investors and 2 rejections from payment providers who we wanted to work with, all in the space of a half an hour walk. And I'll be honest, I felt like giving up. Yeah. Right. Yeah, but then you just keep going and you keep at it. And now things are going well. But, like, that's the reality. Like, you're going to be like that. That's not the last time something like that's going to happen to me. It's not going to be the last time I have to, worry about making payroll one day before it happens. Like, that's the reality of being a startup. That's going to happen to you all the time.
Yep.
100%.
Yeah. It's not always quite as sexy as everybody like to make it out to be. Right. I mean, there's always, I actually think if you've seen the show Silicon Valley, it kind of plays on that a little bit. One episode they're way up, everything's perfect. It seems like how could they fuck this up? And then
they do
next episode they're all the way down to the bottom. And it does feel like they make it extreme. The highs are very high in that show, the lows are very low, and it's a little bit extreme and, dramatize one way or the other, but it's kind of like that. There's a roller coaster some days.
Sure.
You open your email and you see an email from a client or from an investor or whoever, and it's, it's not favorable, and it's like, man, I don't want to do this,
Right.
So, and then the next day you get this great sale and makes everything better. So yeah, that 100% agree with all that.
So Tom, as we wrap up this episode, brother, if you could leave our listeners with one piece of advice, what would it be?
Same piece of advice I give to everyone. Talk to your customers. All right. Just talk to your customers, talk to people, share your problems, share your ideas, validate it. Never be worried about someone stealing your idea, because the truth is it doesn't matter if they do, because they won't execute it as well as you do. The biggest mistake that founders make time and time again is they're too afraid to talk to people. Yeah, because they don't want someone to say it's not going to work. Or it doesn't matter if it isn't going to work. You'll make it work. So speak to as many people as you can. Speak to your mum, speak to your grandma, speak to your brother, speak to your cousin, speak to anyone you know, speak to your mate down the gym. Someone will give you some value. And there's something in and also every time you speak to someone, this is the value add. You're learning how to pitch your product. You're getting better at it, okay? And you're getting more succinct and you're getting tighter. There is nothing negative that comes from speaking to people. So speak to as many people as you possibly can. And also, you're also exponentially creating word of mouth. More people are learning about what you do. More people are going to go and find out. You might win a customer that way. Talk to people.
And you find out exactly what people want. I'm developing a new info product for my business, and I'm talking about it to my existing clients. And I'm trying to give them some just practical advice that it's all about how to start a business. What's like the basic from 0 to 1. Lots of people are talking about how to get from 1 to 100, and that's great and that's super necessary. But I don't think as many people are like, hey, here are the nuts and bolts of and like, let me guide you through the process of like, you have no idea how to start a business. Let me show you how to do it. And so I own a product development firm, and I've been talking to my clients about it. And because as questions come up, that they have about the process, I'm like, oh, there's a perfect opportunity for me to talk about this and, what I'm doing with this service. And then they'll be like, I've mentioned it to a few people and I'm getting some great feedback. Like, hey, that's great. Can you actually take it a step further and do this, this, and this? I'm like, all right, I hadn't thought about that, but maybe I can, so it just really gives you a great idea of, hey, maybe there's actually a more expensive follow-up product that I can offer, or like a done for you type thing or whatever. But it's so important to not just be in a bubble and create your product over there and not talk to anybody about it. And I completely agree. I mean, I get people all the time who they want to sign an NDA or they want to have a patent in place before they, start talking about something. I'm totally fine with signing an NDA, and that's great. But they'll say, well, I just want to feel comfortable that you're not going to steal my idea. And I'm like, I don't have the time to besides the morale, I'm not going to steal your idea just because that's not who I am. But also, I freaking don't have the time to steal your idea, even if I wanted to. And I'm not, like you were talking about, Tom, earlier, I'm not going to execute it the way you would. So like, don't worry about that. I stay in my lane. I'll let you stay in your lane, So I think that's the most important thing. And just getting feedback and getting your idea out there is important. And that doesn't mean that you go tell you don't advertise, like if it's something that you're trying to patent and kind of keep in a small circle, that doesn't mean that you just get online and start shouting it out and telling everybody about it and posting it, because then, there's some restrictions there with patentability. But yeah, get it out to like at least a controlled circle of people and get some feedback.
For sure.
100%. 100%.
Well, guys, I think that's a wrap for this episode. And from the both of us, Tom, we want to thank you for taking the time out of your day, brother, and joining us and adding value on our podcast.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, Tom. Thank you all so much for listening to That Entrepreneur Life. To learn more about what Tom is working on, check out backyourself.show. If you like what you heard today, please subscribe to our podcast and don't forget to download our free ebook about the success mindset at thatentrepreneurlife.com.
Thanks for continuing to support what we do as entrepreneurs, and don't forget to join us next week for another episode of That Entrepreneur Life.
Thanks for listening to That Entrepreneur Life podcast. Be sure to visit thatentrepreneurlife.com to join the conversation, access our show notes, and discover our fantastic bonus content. Don't forget to join us next week for another episode as we continue to add value. Until next time.